Landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess. And you can dance if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend it. But do me a favor and hit that like button, or you're getting math homework for Easter. And we spent the last week carrying the Benchmade Mini Bedlam. So this was a gift from Rich over at Ace on Knives. So let's thank him for making this possible. And let's take a look at what we're holding, because it'll bother you if I don't. And you know I spoil you. So, first things first, and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. We have got the Desert Tan Coyote G10 right here. We have got a thumb stud. We got an axis lock. Let's flick the stud. Man, that sucked. And we have got 3.5 inches of S90V steel. Okay, so let's get into this bad boy. And this is pretty raw. But the biggest thing I noticed with this thing, was this thing is real hard to live with day to day. It is real hard to live with day to day. You know, I got used to holding this thing so that I felt confident my fingies wouldn't be in the way of the blade closing. So, you know, that was nice about it. And of course, I got used to opening and closing it effectively. But this thing rides in the pocket like absolute trash. Oh my God. So one of the biggest things is this took up a ton of real estate in the pocket, and the way it's curved, the way it took up the real estate made it very hard to get stuff out of the pocket around it, like noticeably harder than other knives. And, you know, the other big thing is the skull cracker right here. The way it's set up here, every time I reached in my pocket, I would hit like something around here or around here on it. And I kept feeling like I'd possibly cut myself on the knife being open. And you can kind of see right here where I definitely scraped myself up on the skull cracker. It wasn't pleasant. Now, the factory edge on this thing, I love a good Benchmade factory edge. This was no exception. I did get some use out of it. You know, one of the things we had to do was there was a button behind a door that we couldn't quite get to press all the way in so that we could basically empty the baler out. I was able to snap off a chunk of a pallet and whittle it down to a wedge and jam it in there and get that fixed. So it's kind of nice, you know, being able to say, I know what to do here and have the right tool for the right job. Because this did a great job whittling that chunk of wood down into a wedge. It did a really good job. And the factory edge, when I was doing the cut test, the plastic on the pallets, it was like cutting water. Put a little bit of tension on there. Sometimes you don't even got to do that. And it would glide right through. It felt so nice doing those cuts. I really, really, really enjoyed having this thing on me. And, you know, as far as using it as a knife, you know, every time I needed a knife, I got real excited about cracking it out, and I cracked it out. You know, I did walk around fidgeting with it. And, of course, I put one of my alien egg beads on here, which I made this about a week and a half ago. And I will say, this thing, the way everything is set up, the bead swings around. You might be able to hear this. Like, you can hear it. It's hitting right here, which is annoying. But, you know, as long as the handle is, it's hard to hold this where I've got the bead locked in place and snap her open. But let's take a look at where the factory edge is sitting real quick, because I do want to take a look at that and show you guys. You know, a couple of little rough spots, but nothing too major. But, you know, this thing did see a bit heavier use than a lot of knives that I've carried have. You know, kind of relying on that S90V to really do a lot of heavy lifting as far as edge retention. Let's get the factory edge tester out. Let's take a look at where that thing is sitting right now. And we're only going to take one sample. We're running real low on test clips, and we got a live stream tonight, so we're going to have a lot of fun with that. I do have more test clips ordered, but they're not here yet. So this was kindly provided by you guys. Thank you for that. I'll always appreciate the support. How this works, if you haven't seen it before, is it measures the number of grams of force it takes to cut through this calibrated test clip. The lower the number, the better. You know, we're looking for something down below 200, hopefully. But we're going to take one sample. So it's not going to be the most scientifically accurate thing on the planet. It's just going to give us a good ballpark number of how it compares to other edges that I've tested. And, you know, it quantifies something that's otherwise hard to quantify on camera. So let's see what we got. 177. Very, very happy seeing 177, especially after basically some wood carving on top of blasting through some cardboard. on top of all the other use it got over the last week here. So I really can't complain about that at all. And, you know, this thing feels like it's a more combat-oriented knife than a daily carry, user. It really does, because, the way this is set up is it's really awkward to use as a daily carry, but, you get in here, and this thing fits perfectly like this. It is perfect for holding like this, which gives you that advantage when you're stuck using this for combat. This right here is also comfortable for a lot. It is comfortable for a push cut. I got a feeling whenever we do Cardboard Slayer, it's going to be fairly gentle on the hand is what I'm looking for out of it. It might be, it might not be. We're going to find that out in a few hours here. But, it does feel like it's oriented more towards combat than a daily user. So, or it's intended to carry in a manner that I am not set up to carry. It may be set up to ride in a vest or in a pack or somewhere that's not in the same pocket as your car keys and other stuff. I have a few accoutrements that I carry in the pocket, which gives me a good idea how the knife will carry it in the pocket for you, especially with stuff in the same pocket. There is some brass deposited from the keys, which is nothing unusual. We'll get that cleaned up later tonight. But yeah, it feels more combat oriented and stuff like that than a daily a tool. It feels more combat oriented than tool. It is still a tool at the end of the day. It's going to work as a knife. It's just living with it day to day was a little bit harder than I like. And of course, the big elephant in the room is the price. It's $350. And, like I said last time, I'm kind of two minds on this. Like, one, it is an eye-wateringly high price. There is no way I could begin to afford this of my own volition. But I do know this is American made, and it's American made by people that are paid a living wage, and that really says a lot about Benchmade. So, I don't know, because I don't handle a lot of expensive knives like this, I don't know if this thing really justifies its price or not. As far as a show-off tool, as far as an internet flex, stuff like that, yeah. But as far as paying that much for a daily carry in something like S90V when you can get Magna Cut for about $100 in a few places now, make your own decisions there. And I will fight you on this. A baseline poverty spec bug out should cost $100. That seems to be a fair price. It's an old knife. It's old steel. Like, come on, guys. It should be $100. So, and it's like, I am a Benchmade fanboy, a little bit. I love seeing Benchmade, but I can't afford Benchmade, and I've said that quite a few times. I like Benchmade, I can't afford Benchmade. The build quality on this feels premium. Like, this feels primo. It's got a little bit of heft to it, but, everything fits together well. The action is buttery smooth, even though it's on bronze washers. Like, this thing really, really, really is built very, very well. The materials feel high quality. The components are fit up so nice. It feels like it's high quality. And again, it's one of those things you don't really notice until you hold and use something that is extremely high quality and you're only handling budget stuff below $50. You don't really understand that difference until you feel it. So, like I said, I'm of two minds on it, but, at the end of the day, standing aside from the price, I like this thing for the looks. I like this thing to show off, but I don't like carrying it day to day in my pocket. But, that's kind of my take on this thing, and I do believe it's not set up for carrying the way I carry it. It can't be set up for that. Not as difficult as it was. But, that's kind of what happened with this thing. That's what happened over the course of the week. This is getting a little bit long in the tooth, and I've covered everything that I can think of. So, all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. Y'all keep coming in. I appreciate you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We got live streams, regular videos. There's plenty of activities. Comments. I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this thing. And of course, we are going to plug some products from friends of the channel. They are not affiliate links. I don't make any money on it, just supporting some of my friends. And there you go. And as always, we are going to link up to Cutting Lacey CDC's Diamond Emulsion if you want to step your stropping game up, make it easier to sharpen your blades, and keep them sharp. Wonderful product. I use it myself on every single knife I sharpen now. And we are going to link up to Mad Yocco's Wax. If you want to protect your blades that are prone to corrosion, if you want to darken up the color of your micarta, or take care of a million other things, he is going to be on Blade Binge with his wax. All right, just supporting some friends of the channel and some small businesses. All right, all that being said, y'all have a nice day.